Should you buy a Hyundai IONIQ 6 or Tesla Model 3? Well, I'm going to do a whole in-depth video with more comparisons coming on this channel with Max. Soon, I'm actually here in Arizona experiencing the new Hyundai IONIQ 6 for the first time. And well, this car competes directly with the Tesla Model 3. And I thought I'd give you my impressions of this car in the context of Model 3 for this video, so that if you're on the fence of choosing which one to buy, hopefully I can help steer you in the right direction. And essentially that's what we're going to get into today. No major specs, pricing. I mean, I can tell you some things about it, but this is really just my impressions of this car right after spending some time driving a Tesla Model 3. We'll do the real in-depth comparison at some point in the near future. Let's talk base price to start. This car starts at just over $41,000. The Model 3 starts at $42,990, I believe. And that would be for the Model 3 Standard Range LFP. The range on that car is 270 miles of EPA rated range, and it's 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds, if I remember correctly. The base version of this car starts, again, a little bit less expensive, but it's 0 to 60 in 9 seconds and only has a 53 kilowatt hour battery versus about 57 or 58 kilowatt hour usable out of the Model 3 LFP, and has 240 miles of range. So right off the bat, this thing's losing in the numbers game, side by side. The other downside is the IONIQ 6, that standard range version. It only comes in the base trim with cloth seats, with no sunroof, with no good sound system, and they're not going to build very many of them. They're going to be coming into the US in a few months from now, not now, and pretty much you'll never see one. Similar to IONIQ 5 and EV6, you never see the small battery options out in the wild. So I think it's really important that we look at maybe not so much the base comparisons, because if you're going to come in from the entry level on the market, the Model 3, at least at the time of this recording, it's before we totally know if it will continue to qualify. But as of today, which is at the end of March 23, the Model 3 also qualifies for a $7,500 tax credit that this does not for. So the pricing and what you get for your money, like, there's almost no question right off the bat, buy a Tesla Model 3 over this if you're going on the base trims. It actually gets a little bit more interesting when we start looking at nicer ones. That would be like a Model 3 Long Range or Performance against an IONIQ 6 SE or SEL with the bigger battery. Now we're actually starting to get into some serious conversation. The standard car, just back to that point about the tax credit, $7,500 federal tax credit will not apply to this vehicle because it's assembled and built in Korea. The funny thing is, there is a loophole though, and the loophole is if you do a commercial lease, if you lease the vehicle from Hyundai Financial, then you actually will qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. I believe every vehicle does. And so they're going to be applying that $7,500 to the leasing structures on this car. We'll keep an eye on what dealers are offering, what the programs are for that month, but it's very possible that leasing one of these, especially in the base trim, could be a really good deal. But let's just focus on buying the car for now, because that's what we know is the listed manufacturer suggested retail price of $41,600, I believe, is the base price without destination. And they go all the way up to $57,000 with destination, which is this one right here. This is a fully spec'd limited with all-wheel drive. And so it just has every bell and whistle. The Model 3, again, can get up to about $54,000, $55,000 for a performance, and it will have more than 130 more horsepower than this car, and it will have actually about 30 to 40 miles more range in the EPA cycle than this car. So even then, on the high end of the market, if you're comparing a Model 3 performance versus one of these, apples to apples, similar pricing category, the Model 3 will still get the tax credit, and it's still going to be faster, and it's still going to handle better, to be honest, and it's overall just going to give you so much more bang for your buck. But cars aren't just numbers on paper. You don't just evaluate them on a spreadsheet. Some people do, most Tesla people do, because Teslas always win on paper. It's part of what makes them so popular, I think, is that they've built an incredibly high value product for a very reasonable price at Tesla. But this car has a lot of intangibles that make it in certain areas better than the Tesla. So I kind of want to break it down for you where I think the IONIQ 6 buyer should be coming from and where the Tesla buyer is really coming from. I really equate this to Apple versus Android. Now, I am an Apple user because everything works together. For example, this video is shot on an iPhone. It's then airdropped to a MacBook Pro, which is then edited with Final Cut Apple video editing software and exported on my laptop and sent up to YouTube. That just works. I never have issues. I make videos every single day on YouTube and it just goes and my flow is perfect, and that's the Tesla experience. I can drive my Tesla Model 3, which I own one, to anywhere. I can put in the destination. The car says, here's where you need to stop. I'm going to route you to Tesla superchargers, which I can plug and charge and get the fastest, best charging experience out there, in my opinion, for these types of cars. And then I'm on to the next destination. When I buy a Tesla, I don't have to go to a dealer. I can get it on my phone, and then it just is like, come pick up your car, and it's super easy. But some people want to have more control, more options, potentially higher quality materials and better build quality than just numbers on paper and just user experience and ownership experience. And that's where this car comes in. There are not many electric sedans on the market. The ones that are in this sizing category would be like Mercedes EQE. There's Polestar 2, which I still think is very SUV-like because it's built on Volvo CMA. And so there's not much. This is kind of playing in a field of its own. There's a lot of people who just won't buy a Tesla out of principle. I personally don't understand that, but there are people out there, who definitely are that way. And when you remove the Tesla Model 3, you're like, holy smokes, what else are you going to get that's close to that value? And that's this. This, by the way, is really well engineered. You have, again, a clunky road tripping experience, like I mentioned. The route planning sucks really bad in this. Routes you to AC chargers. You cannot rely on the car to help you get around as an EV driver. It does not have plug-in charge, but when you get it right, when you get the settings dialed in, when you get the battery pack at the right temperature and you pull up to the right charger, this thing is a charging monster. It can charge from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes, which is insane. So while the charging peak might be slightly lower than a Model 3, Model 3 long range will do 258, 259 kilowatts. This will do about 240 kilowatts peak. This can hold that maximum charging rate much longer than Tesla can, which means for the amount of time that you actually spend at a charger, you're getting more range. Now, I've actually done some efficiency testing on this car as well, and I just came back from a test loop and got 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour in roughly 1 hour of typical highway commuting traffic. That's really good considering this is the least efficient one you can buy. Maybe it's not the magical Model 3 efficiency, but it's really not far off. And to be honest, I really want to run them side by side because it's probably closer than a lot of you think they are. It's a very efficient vehicle. And I guess we'll get into, maybe the unique selling points of this. Why would you go for this over a Model 3? Well, first of all, I think styling's not going to be it because it's pretty ugly back here. But I do love this digital green. The build quality is insane. These panel gaps are perfection. I've never seen a car put as well together as this particular one is right here. And I've been lucky enough to drive everything. This thing is millimeter perfection. Also, door handles are not stupid like the Model 3. They actually pop out as standard, which is really nice. So you don't have to stick your finger in and do this weird thing. I did say that as I almost shut my finger in the door. That was user error. We have the car really messy, but take a look inside. It's a very attractive interior. If you wouldn't mind hitting it to wide view for the interior view, thank you very much. You can see it's a gorgeous interior. We have this gray and green combination going on here. Really high quality materials, great storage locations, pretty good screens, great driver assistance. And so, you really do get a lot here, and it is a totally different experience to sit in this car than it is to sit in a Tesla. To sit in this car, you feel unbelievably quiet going down the road, Great suspension tuning. It feels so much more substantial. It honestly feels like more car than a Model 3. And it is. It's 6 inches longer and 2 inches wider and about 1.6 inches taller. Dimensionally, it's bigger, but it feels even bigger than that. This thing feels almost borderline premium luxury going down the road, which you definitely don't get in a Model 3. So if you're just trying to cruise on a daily commute, this might be the option for many people. The driver assistance in this car is truly wonderful. With HDA2, it does lane changes. That's available in the mid and high spec, where you can just hit your turn signal and it will change lanes for you. On a Tesla, it's a $6,000 option minimum to get into enhanced autopilot, and then I think $15,000 if you want to get FSD optioned on your car, which I don't recommend you do. To me, this is the problem with this car. I don't know if I could drive around something that looks like this personally, but let's just show you in the trunk here. Some people love the styling. The trunk space is very large, and I would actually argue larger than the Model 3 almost. You have not the deepest underfloor storage, but some underfloor storage right here with the charging cable. Definitely, I think overall there's probably more space in the Model 3 for things, because the front trunk, I just want to show you here very quickly, is very small. So let's take a look under here. The thing keeps beeping at you. Again, Tesla, you don't have a latch for the front trunk. You can very much tell, like, Hyundai's keeping it old school, making you do these, and for some reason, there we go, do these latches. You have the world's smallest front trunk right here, just maybe enough for a charging cable, and maybe even if that. So not the most usable. Model 3 is a very large front trunk that you can really, use on a daily basis. It's no problem. Interior, let me just show you the back seat room on this particular one, because the car is on and locked. I wonder if I hit unlock. Let me just shut the car off really quick, and then the door handles will work. That's also another thing that's really actually annoying about this. You have to turn it on and off with the start button. Model 3, you just get in, go, and then leave, as it should be. Why do you have to turn something on? It's definitely, like, some of it's old school. I'm going to have a seat in here. You'll see how I fit behind myself. This is the real key thing. If you put people in the car often, if you're a business person and take people out to lunch, there's so much more room in this vehicle than there is in the Model 3. Legroom, unbelievable. The floor is quite high because the batteries are under here. But just look at my headroom. It's pretty tight, but I actually do fit. I'm 6'1", but I can feel the top of my hair brushing. But overall, the shoulder room, I mean, there's room to sprawl in this car. Like, this is a significant improvement over a Model 3. But then again, I'm giving up that beautiful glass canopy, and I have a very traditional, just like crappy headliner up here. Okay, so just to give you the benefits of both cars, this has great driving dynamics, great build quality, interesting styling. It's a conversation piece, unbelievably good charging, and overall just feels like a very nicely engineered product. The Model 3 has the best purchase experience. It has a great ownership experience with the app constantly working. So much better user experience than this when it comes to the in-car navigation, activating everything. In my opinion, which you guys know, I'm not really a software guy per se. I just love the Tesla experience way more than any other automaker I've ever sampled. And maybe excluding Rivian. Rivian's right up there. But Tesla by far just has the experience stuff down. Tesla also has more range in the EPA cycle. I really need to run them side by side, but they win on numbers. They got more acceleration, more range, better handling. This is definitely going to be a little bit more comfortable, quieter, softer on the highway, and give you a better overall daily experience. So really, if you're on the fence, if you're watching this video, if you're considering a Tesla or the IONIQ 6, buy the Tesla. That's my recommendation. I wouldn't even question it. If for whatever reason you don't want to buy a Tesla, you don't want to be seen driving an Elon mobile, you went off Twitter when Elon bought Twitter, then this is a very close second. But I can't be convinced in really any way that when I look at an overall package that this is better than the Model 3. And it's, resale values are questionable. Model 3 hold its value very well. There's just the Tesla service experience is amazing. You got to go to a dealer and to get software updates. This car now supports over-the-air updates with ECUs, but this is the first car Hyundai's making that supports over-the-air updates. Tesla's been doing it since 2012, so it just seems pretty crazy to me. We don't know how they're going to support the car into the future. time will tell. But like I said, if you're watching this video, if you're considering a Tesla, buy the Tesla. If you're just like, I hate Tesla and wouldn't want to be seen driving one because everyone and their mother has one, because there's one right there. Take a look. You'll see just another Model 3. No matter where you look, anywhere in the US, you'll see Model 3s. Then get this one. But this is truly a fantastic car. It's a great car. It's actually one of the best cars I've driven all year. But it just can't match what Tesla has done with the Model 3 as an overall package. So thanks so much for watching another episode of Out of Spec Guide. And Hyundai, thanks for letting me drive your IONIQ 6. I can't wait to do some more testing with it. Truly an impressive car, really enjoyable to drive. Can't wait to get back in it. And to my Model 3 sitting at home, can't wait to drive that too. There's just something so great about sitting in a Model 3 on the ground, no start button, and just burnouts out of the garage. Thanks for watching. See you in another one soon. Bye-bye.